on Christmas Eve. I'm sure everyone who's here knows, but for those of you who might not, these 4 workers fell to their deaths because they didn't have the adequate safety equipment. They fell to their deaths because they didn't have adequate training. And we're here tonight to remember them, to honor them, and to say that we do not want this to happen again. We see that one of the main reasons why this happened is because these workers had precarious immigration status. People across this country with precarious status are denied the right to access basic protections, basic labor and safety standards, and their rights. And so we're here to say that we're here to show our respect for them, and also to say never again. We don't want to see this injustice occur.
Hello, I've been construction worker, but I've also been working with No One's Illegal to demand status for all people in Canada since 2006, when a number of members of 183 were rounded up and deported, and the building trades led by 183 stood up and demanded an end to deportations and status for all. And that's really what's at the heart of this question here today. Without status, how does somebody exercise their right to refuse? Lots of building trades workers here today, they all know that you need 2 things. You need fear of going to jail for foremen and companies to make safety work, and you need no fear on the part of the workers to stand up for their rights and demand safe working and safe conditions. How can we have workers that don't have fear to stand up when we don't have when they don't have status? All of the workers in Toronto have to get behind the demand of the migrant workers for status.
I also want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time tonight to stand here as well with migrant workers and be able to express your horror of what happened on Christmas Eve. I want to say that through the Ontario Federation of Labour, I did call for a criminal investigation because, you know, there is in place legislation at the federal level, Bill C-45, that was put in place in 1992 when the West Ray miners in Nova Scotia were killed underground, 26 of them, and the company was held criminally responsible for the actions in that particular tragic accident. And I've checked back through the records, and in 1992 the legislation was passed. And you may not believe this, but there has not been one single criminal charge laid against an employer in the province of Ontario since 1992. And in that same period of time, we kill in this province 400 workers every single year. When they go to work, there's 400 workers do not come home. That's been happening on average since 1992. We've been killing 400 workers. Over 5,000 workers have died on the job in Ontario since 1992, and the Attorney General has not laid one criminal charge against any employer in this province. But it gets worse. On an annual basis, we've got 317,000 reported accidents in the workplace. These are accidents where people are losing limbs, they're being maimed, some of them will never work again, every single year. That means since 1992, we've had over 5 million reported accidents in the province of Ontario, and the Attorney General has not laid one single criminal charge out of 5 million accidents on the job. Surely to goodness, at least 1 or 2 of those have to be where an employer was held responsible. And the point that was being made by the speaker earlier on is absolutely bang on. Unless the signal goes out to the employers in this province that you will be held criminally responsible if you maim or kill a worker on the job in this province, the that you will pay the price for the criminal justice system. That's an absolute we have to have to make the Occupational Health and Safety Act work, where workers can feel safe, being able to say that I refuel this unsafe work. So I'm going to finish my comments on that just to basically say that we're going to continue to press for this criminal investigation, not just for this incident, but we want to demand to know why the Attorney General in this province has not used the powers that they've got on the books to protect workers in this province from being maimed or killed on the job.
One is injury to all. All access without fear. We know that people are afraid of reprisals, they're afraid of the threats of repatriation and deportations. And we have to ensure that people have access without fear. For the families, that there's financial support, and I know that some of the family members aren't here, so for us, as a community, provide for those families to help them at this point in time. For workers' compensation for these families, yes, for workers' compensation, to ensure that workers' compensation will cover and help these families in this time of need as well. So once again, status for all.